Is it Dalton Schultz's turn to step up for this Houston Texans offense? And they might need him this week against the Green Bay Packers. The Texans are going to be down some starters over there on defense. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson. Gosh, I can keep naming all the impressive pieces of that Green Bay Packers offense. Look, the Packers are going to put some points on the board. The Texans will need to do the same in a game that has shootout potential on Sunday. Well, Dalton Schultz could be a key to helping them put some of those points on the board. I'll explain that in just a moment. Schultz has had a pretty tough start to his season. It's one of the slower starts that he's had in his NFL career since he became a starter, and it's an uninjured start to his season. If he was hobbled or banged up, you can maybe point to it here or there that it's just not working for Dalton Schultz because of his body. But he's only been on the injury report a little bit, and he's been healthy for a couple of weeks, and it just hasn't clicked for Schultz. Now, I was in favor of the Texans bringing back Schultz. I did not see an avenue to drastically improving the tight end room by not keeping Dalton Schultz. I felt like he almost had to be back for this team. And the way Bobby Slowik talked about him in the offseason, Schultz felt like a really important piece to this team. CJ Stroud said the same thing as well in the offseason. There were just things that Dalton Schultz figured out, and then he and CJ Stroud were on the same page that helped the team get better last year. So I felt like Schultz was important to bring back, but he hasn't quite lived up to the expectations that most of us had up to this point. CJ Stroud talked about it. Bobby Slowik talked about it. And the box score has not been showcasing what Schultz can do. And that's probably got to change for the Texans if they want to reach their ultimate potential on offense. Schultz's projected season, no touchdowns, 80-something targets, 50-something catches. That's not what you thought Dalton Schultz was going to be capable of doing this year. Now, look, you knew Joe Mixon was going to come in and run the football a little bit more. That's less for Dalton Schultz. And you knew Stefon Diggs was going to take some of the air yards away from Dalton Schultz. But it shouldn't look like this. And Bobby Slowik kind of explained why that box score hadn't quite looked right for Dalton Schultz just yet.
I know statistically he hasn't had the greatest start as far as receptions, but we've missed a couple throws. You know, that him and CJ are grinding through the connection. He's had some ops that we haven't made. And as the year goes, just like it has with a lot of the guys that we started the year that way, that'll continue to click.
Now, we'll say Bobby Slowik for a couple of weeks has been saying, hey, the offense is close on this, the offense is close on that. And then last week they exploded and had a 41-point outing, including two of their best drives of the season to start the game against the New England Patriots. This ain't the New England Patriots this week, so you're going to need more from Dalton Schultz. And as CJ Stroud talked about Schultz, and hey, he believes that connection is right around the corner as well.
You know, it's a long season, man. Like I know that, we'll start connecting more, and I know that, we'll start, really just, feeding off with each other, and, our chemistry is really high. So we just got to get back to that and, just go out there and have more fun.
All right, so why is it Dalton Schultz's turn to break out for this offense? And do you believe, CJ Stroud and Bobby Slowik, that it could be coming very, very soon, even this week? I kind of do, and here's why. This Packers team has a really solid secondary. Xavier McKinney, the safety that they added in free agency, he's been excellent. Tons of interceptions this year. Jair Alexander is a really good cornerback. They are a solid defense there on the back end, and they've shut down some impressive wide receivers, slowed down some impressive passing attacks this season. But the past 2 weeks, there's been a little bit of an opening in the armor that is that Packers defense, and it's been the tight end position of the previous two teams that they've played. A couple of weeks ago, the Rams got Colby Parkinson going. He was tied for the most receptions in that game for the Rams, and he was the top target guy for the Rams as well. And just last week, Trey McBride for the Arizona Cardinals, he was the top receiver in targets, yards, and receptions for the Cardinals. So you start to sort of see that middle of the field, that short stuff that Dalton Schultz has been good at, and he's been mostly on the short stuff. His yards per catch is in the single digits after being double digits for the past few seasons. But you can kind of see where Dalton Schultz, when they're focusing on Stefon Diggs and Tank Dell, Joe Mixon out of the backfield, Schultz is there. And as Bobby Slowik talked about, it's just been close on a couple of them, just a little bit here or there. And Dalton Schultz turns some of those incompletes into completions, and Stroud trusts him on third downs. They've had some big third down conversions, even though the overall statistics for Dalton Schultz haven't been super incredible. You've still been able to get some production out of Dalton Schultz in key moments. Now, if you could just put some of that production into the rest of the game, not just a handful of third downs, you can sort of start to see how Dalton Schultz gets going in this matchup. If you believe he's going to get going, hey, check out our friends at Prize Picks, the daily fantasy, where it is easy to play, easy to get going, and you're going to get a free $50 when you sign up and play your first $5 using my code STOOTS, STOOTS, STOOTS. Let's put together a banger of an entry here at the end of the video. But let's talk a little bit more about how important Dalton Schultz is to this offense. Look, the box score, it's going to come. I believe it's going to show up for Dalton Schultz, and this is a good matchup with those previous tight ends having a fair level of success against the Green Bay Packers defense. But CJ Stroud talked about it initially, and Bobby Slowik confirmed it. Schultz brings a lot to the table that's not in the box score for this Texans team.
He's like a coach on the field. Like he helps me a ton with the run game, and he's intelligent. I can see him being like an OC one day, or he's so smart. So he's helping out Cade, he's helping out Joe, he's helping out the guys up front, making sure we're ID'd right, and he takes on a lot of responsibility that he doesn't really have to, but he does it, and he puts in the extra hours. So I tip my hat off to Dalton and be able to just do that.
There's that importance that's not showing up in the box score, the next-gen stats that C.J. Stroud talked about, how he helps guys get lined up, IDs people. And look, there's not a guy on the offense that's helping out to that level and keeping a little bit of the pressure off of C.J. Stroud. I don't know how many tight ends could do that. Remember, Schultz, smart guy, went to Stanford, and actually really smart if you listen to Bobby Slowik break down how he helps the offense.
And we have a lot of movements in our offense. There's some different formations, there's some different words, and when you have somebody back there that's not always only the quarterback, so everyone's not asking one guy all the questions. When you have somebody else back there that can just quickly give an answer, no, you're here, or you got a motion after this, or just really quick responses to get people on track, it is huge, and he really takes pride in doing that, and that's helped CJ immensely.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Hey, Cody, they don't pay him to be a coach on the field. Hey, Cody, they don't put him on the field to have a coach there and then play 10 on 11 when he can't do anything. And I get that. The production has to be there. The box score results have to tick up, and there will be opportunities for Dalton Schultz here in the coming weeks. This is a good matchup for him. He was number 2 in targets last week. Heck, we probably wouldn't even be talking about Dalton Schultz if the throw was a little better into the end zone. The DB makes a little bit less good of a play, and the Texans are up 21-0 in the first half against the Patriots. Like, there's one play would have flipped the whole perception of Dalton Schultz's season up to this point, meaning he's pretty close to showing up and taking care of some business for this offense. And then you start to think about, hey, Stefon Diggs is going. Tank Dell got going last week. Joe Mixon's back. The pass blocking's kind of settled in a little bit. The run blocking got going a little bit as well. Man, that final piece on offense, just getting the tight ends involved, getting them going, some of that quick, short, easy stuff. Or Schultz has had a couple of those nice big ones over the middle when the defense just loses them because they're focusing on the wide receivers and other stuff on this offense. It'd be nice to see that at Lambeau Field on Sunday and have Dalton Schultz show up in a big way in the box score and on the field. And as Bobby Slowik and CJ Stroud told you, he shows up each and every snap, it feels like, that he's on the field, with how important he is from a between-the-ears standpoint for this Texans offense. What say you? You buying the Dalton Schultz is right there and ready to show up for this Texans team, or you feel like he's probably just kind of got the lowered level of expectations now because it just hadn't clicked through the first few weeks here of this season? Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You'll see my friends Platinum AC and Heating in there. Don't forget to call Dwyane, 832-777 $36.83 for your exclusive price on year-round preventative maintenance for your air conditioner. This is the perfect time when it's not super hot outside. Get that preventative maintenance, get on the schedule so it's always running good and saving you money when it comes to your air conditioner. Now, I promised you that we're going to put together a Prize Picks entry. Let's fire that sucker up and put us together a banger for this weekend. All right, Prize Picks, the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy. We told you we'll put an entry together for this Texans and Packers matchup. Let's put a big one together. Let's go big on this one. Use the code Stoots, STOOTS. Play your first 5, get $50 from Prize Picks. The link's in the description down below. So let's check out the Prize Picks menu. Look, you got this Anthony Edwards discount right here on the screen. We're not going to use it for this one, but this is a fun one to keep in your back pocket. Let's go into this matchup. Let's go to passing yards. Let's find Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. I said less. I want more on Jordan Love. I want more on CJ Stroud. Let's go to rushing and receiving touchdowns. Jaden Reed is their best wide receiver. Let's go ahead and say he's going to score a touchdown. We talked about Dalton Schultz. I'd be remiss if I didn't put him in here. I just told you Schultz was number 2 in targets for the Texans. How about more than 5.5 targets for Dalton Schultz? Stefon Diggs has got to be in this entry as well. Diggs has had days against the Green Bay Packers in his career. The receiving yards for Diggs, let's put him in there. We've got Stefon Diggs, more on 69.5 receiving yards, more than 5.5 receiving targets for Dalton Schultz. Jaden Reed in the end zone, and then CJ Stroud and Jordan Love, more for them as well. How about a 10 spot to win 100 if we put this entry together? Heck, even a 5 spot, you'd have some fun with it as well. Let's submit that entry. It's that easy to put one together on Prize Picks. Right along with us, won't you? And use that code Stoots, STOOTS, when you sign up. Play your first 5. You could play it right there on that one. You could get 5 to win 50, and then you'll get $50 in bonus as well. Prize Picks, the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy. Appreciate you watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I'm right that Dalton Schultz is right around the corner and going to show up for the Texans this weekend. And hope you tune in to SNL on Friday at 4 p.m. as we give you the final injury report breakdown and figure out who in the heck is going to be playing on defense for the Texans as all those starters are out. So don't miss that over here on my channel, as well as the Locker Room with Landry Locker, all the other great videos, and just appreciate y'all watching. This has been a fun season so far. It's going to be a fun game on Sunday. Thanks for watching, everybody.